Hey y'all, so today is Money Monday, and with all of the student loan stuff that's been happening lately, I wanted to talk about how I got out of student loan debt, and I wanted to share some helpful tips with you so you can do the same. But before I get started, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hey y'all, I just released my first financial literacy ebook, How I Became Debt Free in 22 Months. This is an easy, educational, and encouraging guide. I want you to check it out. It's only $5. Look in the link in the description box below and click that button. All right, y'all. So as simple and as cliche as this first step sounds, what I did to pay off my student loan debt, how I really got that process going was the first thing that I did was that I decided that I wanted to get out of student loan debt. And I say that because in the past, y'all, I was not worried about that student loan debt. I was like, catch me when you can. Forbear. Like, I ain't worried about that. And people can go bother somebody else. Like, it was never anything that was really in the forefront of my thinking. Like, really, I had just succumbed to, people don't never pay that off. And why would I be any different? But once I made a decision that, number one, I'm going to get out of debt. And that means, paying off these student loans. That was the first step. They always say the first step is admitting that you have a problem. I had to admit to myself that I had student loan debt. I didn't know how much I had, really previous to starting my debt-free journey. I kind of had an idea, but I didn't know the exact numbers. So I already knew I had student loan debt. I had to get clear on the number. And then I had to make a decision to say, you know what? I'm going to get out of student loan debt. I can do this. So that's the first step, y'all. So here's my second tip. The debt snowball, y'all. The debt snowball is gold when paying off debt, but especially student loan debt. Because most folks who have student loan debt, it's not just one big loan. Like, some people have that, but most folks have several loans, spread over a course of time. I believe mine was either 6 or 9 loans. I can't quite remember. The smallest was like $1,000 and some change, and the largest was $5,000. And what the debt snowball is that you pay off your debts from smallest to greatest. You're not worried about interest rates. Once you pay off that small debt, you roll that payment into the next, so on and so forth. So let's say I was paying, $50 on my first debt that was $1,000. I finished paying off that debt. I'm going to roll that $50 payment into the next debt and whatever else that I have. And your snowball, so to speak, is going to gain traction. And that's really what helped me. It gave me just like a general framework to be able to have a plan to attack my debt. Because I remember, back in the day when I would say, I want to pay off this, I want to pay off that. Like, I really didn't have a plan. I was just throwing money all over the place, not making like a dent in anything. But the debt snowball, listen, that helped me to get out of debt, period. But that really helped to speed up, me being able to pay off $14,180 in 9 months. So use the debt snowball. And along with the debt snowball, y'all, take advantage of this no interest. I remember, when the payment pause first began, back in 2020, I don't think a lot of us realized that interest was not accruing. Like, of course, we knew that we didn't have to make payments, right? And I wasn't making payments no way, child. But, we did not really realize that interest was not accruing. There are people who have been able to get out of large amounts of student loan debt because there was no interest accruing. As y'all know, payments start back in October, I believe October 1st, but interest starts back September 1st. That is about 2 months, a little less than 2 months. And don't be dismayed. Yeah, it's a little less than 2 months, but you can still do something to really get that good start. So take advantage of this no interest for as long as you can. Now, this is one thing, that we often hear a lot when it comes to student loan debt, especially for people who have large amounts of student loan debt. I don't even make enough to put a dent in the payments to be able to, do anything substantial. And you know what? When it comes to your 9 to 5, you are completely right. You are going to have to get a first, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, however many jobs you need. You're going to have to get more than one job. You're not going to be able to do it on your 9 to 5. Your 9 to 5 is simply just going to be there to, help you to stay afloat with bills and all of those other things. But when it comes to paying off large amounts of debt, especially student loan debt, you are going to have to side hustle your way there. So I work 4 extra jobs: food delivery, I counsel, I taught classes, and then I tutor as well. That's 4 extra jobs that I did to really help to pay off my student loan debt. And any money that I got from those side hustles, it literally all went to my student loan payments. When you making an extra grand or extra $2,000 a month and you start tacking that thing on to them student loans, like they literally don't know what hit them. Sometimes I was making a payment on Monday, then I was making one on Wednesday. Whenever my side hustle payments hit, that's when I was putting them towards my student loan debt. So as you're working your side hustle, as soon as you get that money, put it on that loan immediately. Don't even let it sit there. I don't care if you making 16 payments a week. Put it on your student loans, and that's something that people hate to hear because, it sucks working more than one job. In the height of my debt-free journey, and for a pretty long time, y'all, I was working from Sunday to Sunday. Like, I was not playing. A lot of us are at a place in our lives where we can work, like we can really work for real. And there's going to be a time where you're not going to be able to do that. And them student loans still going to be due. So please don't let that be you. While you can work, whatever you can do. Of course, I always recommend, maybe getting a side hustle that's an extension of your job. But sometimes that's kind of hard to do. So it doesn't matter. Find something. If you on Target on the weekends, shout out to my teachers. Because my teachers, they'll work a totally different job during the summer or after they get out of classes. And, that helps them to stay afloat. So you may need to do the same thing, Don't be ashamed to work at the grocery store. Listen, don't be ashamed to do any of these fast food jobs. There is nothing wrong with an honest living, especially when you are trying to catapult your financial future. One thing that Dave Ramsey says that always sticks with me is live like no one else so you can live like no one else. So if that means, you working 4 jobs and the people around you barely working one, that's okay, because it's going to come a time when them tables going to turn, girl or sir. And you want to make sure that you're on the right side. So side hustle your way to paying off your student loan debt. So this sounds, like pretty easy. Like maybe you may feel like, oh, that's something that I could do. But this is something typically that a lot of people forget. Stay encouraged. The reason why I felt like I couldn't pay off my student loan debt because it was all that I had heard. I ain't know nobody who didn't have student loan debt, and when you're surrounded by that, it creeps into your spirit. It becomes an internal message that's really, inappropriate. But when I started listening to podcasts, when I started listening to books, when I remember, what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? It really started to resonate with me, and it made me feel like, hey, I can do this. It helped me to stay encouraged. It helped me to keep my head up, especially when I was tired from working all day and night. You have to stay encouraged. If you're hanging around people where, oh, that student loan debt, gonna go with me to the grave, or they can, get it when they get it, you're gonna start doing that same mess. So listen, where you want to be, you need to start hanging with the people. You need to start listening to those folks. So whatever it takes for you to stay encouraged, figure out what those things are and put them into place on a daily, on an hourly basis if you have to. Lastly, y'all, bump the White House. Listen, please don't wait on the White House to fix your problems. As we saw two Fridays ago this week, it ain't gonna happen, okay? So you are your own student loan forgiveness. You have what it takes to get out of debt. You just have to figure out that plan that works for you. But sitting around waiting on somebody else to do it, I don't know about y'all, but I cannot stand to wait on people. Like, that is something that I don't like. I don't want to put my hands or my life, my choices, whatever, in nobody else's hands. I want to get it done, right? So please don't wait on somebody else to, take care of your own student loan debt. I know Biden is coming out, or he's already talked about his plan B. Y'all, you wait on that plan B if you want to, okay? You have what it takes to get out of debt. You're looking at somebody right now who did it. And listen, if you want to know how I did it, drop down in the comments and click that $5 e-guide. And if you want to know more about my debt-free journey or about Money Mondays, click one of these videos here. Bye.